Hey everyone, I'm Shane Stevenson, Director of Museum Collections and Curator here at the Buffalo Naval Park. And for today's video, I'm going to show you how to request a family member's military records or service records online. And I'll also be covering just a little bit that if you don't have access to a computer or the internet, you can request one through the mail and fax that information back as well. So the National Archives, all right, if you're a primary source document wonk like I am, or an archival wonk, there's no place better than visiting the National Archives in Washington, D.C., visiting the administration building. There's some great exhibits, and it's just a beautiful building, as you can imagine. All right, you could also get lost down the rabbit hole very quickly of using their online resources. All right, they have thousands and thousands of documents and photographs and things that you can view online for free. So before we dive in, and I'm actually going to do a dummy request, there's some things that you should know. Right, so let's use 1959 as the delineation. All right, any record before 1959 is free, searchable, and requestable by anyone. It does not have to be next of kin or a family member. Any record after 1959 has to be done by a family member only. All right, so keep that in mind and use for this year, 2021, 1959, prior, requestable by anyone. After 1959, of the discharge date is only requestable by a family member. Also, some of the cost. Any record after 1959 is free of charge. Any record before 1959, it is $25 for any service or military record that is 5 pages or less, and it's $70 if the record is 6 pages or more. So as I mentioned, we're going to do a dummy record, and hopefully this will be an easy guide for you. All right, so I'm going to zoom in to the computer, and then we'll go from there. All right, so we're kind of zoomed in on the home page of the National Archives. And again, you'll see all these little boxes here, and you'd want to go to this one, which is the light blue Veteran Service Records. So once you click that, you got to get through a couple notifications. All right, here, unfortunately, apparently the fax machines are down at the National Archives, so they put that as a notification. But you will come here, and it says Request Military Service Records. And then you'll see this bolded area, and that's what I'm saying. You can request by mail or by fax, or you can request the record online. All right, so let's click that. All right, again, scroll through the notifications, and it says looking for records. Yes, I am. And you want to start a request online. All right, so you'd want to click on that blue box. And what you'll see is a dialog box comes up. All right, so a separate window. So you can maximize that. And this is where you'll check on an existing request. All right, so you will get a confirmation number and a request number, and that will allow you to check on the requests after you've processed it. But for today, we want to make a new request. So you come to this blue button right here, and you'll see it's broken down into 5 different areas. Basic information, service and request detail, report of separation, review and submit, and then the confirmation. All right, so the first couple of questions under the basic information is, are you requesting as the veteran, him or herself, or are you next of kin? Or other. So again, right, prior to any separation before 1959 can be requested by anybody. But let's just do the next of kin of veteran. And then it will ask you for the relationship. And I'll just put that I think it'd be fun to do a daughter, but I'll put son. And then, am I seeking information on a current military member or a former military member? So I will click former. And then hit that continue button. All right, let's say you have to do the branch of service. So let's just say the Navy. Was the veteran service component, were they active or in reserves? So let's say active. Were they an officer or enlisted? We'll say enlisted. And then why are you actually requesting the records? All right, so you have things like benefits, for employment, for medical, for retirement. If you want to check a service member's medals or decorations, you want to correct the record if there's a mistake. Genealogy, so if you're just interested in your family history, that's the one you can collect, that you can select, is genealogy. So we'll do that. And again, hit the continue button. All right, so you have to now fill in this information. All right, so it's veteran's first name, middle initial, or middle name, last name, if there's a suffix. You should know their social security number, so please have that available. The veteran's date of birth. All right, their place of birth. Is the veteran alive or deceased? For the service number, which would only be before 1971, if you have that. The date the veteran entered service. Right, you don't need to really know the month, but they say if you at least know the year, that's helpful. And when they left the service. Again, you might not need to know the month, but if you know the year, that's helpful. All right, so I'm going to take a minute and dummy fill this out, and I'll be back with you in a second. So I filled this out here, just some dummy information, and we're ready to go on to the next page. So I will hit the continue button. All right, so the sort of documents you're requesting. Are you requesting the full unredacted record, or is there information that you'd still want redacted? And that would depend on the user. Right? So if you're going to use this for something and share it with individuals, maybe you'd want the deleted or redacted information or record because it will keep some information private. But if you're just going to be using it for yourself, I would still recommend using the undeleted, all right? And that will be the full service record. If you have any comments, they ask you to put comments in here. All right, so I clicked undeleted. And let's continue. All right, so this is your information, all right? This is the requester information, all right, your mailing address, all right, email. So again, I'm going to take a minute, fill this out, and be back to you in a second. Okay, so I filled this out with some of my information, but it's not private, I guess. So my name, where I work, the address, all right, and then I put my email, phone number, and then we're ready to hit that continue button. Oh, I need an address confirmation. All right, the USPS record is that. We're at the radio button. I will click that and continue. All right, so since I clicked next of kin, you have to show proof that you're next of kin. All right, so that could be anything, any formal record that you would have to show your relationship to the veteran. If the veteran's deceased, that would be the certificate of death. So any of this information would be uploadable here, and that would help them to process the request. Since I'm not going to do that, all right, I can continue and hit the continue button without filling anything in. So it's really, there's very few things that are, quote, required with the asterisk next to them. It's just all of the information you have. The more information, the better and easier it is for them to find the service record. All right, so I'm going to hit continue. And then you have a review and submit. All right, so you can review everything here. You have to give an electronic signature, all right, which shows that you're attesting that all of the information is true to the best of your knowledge. Got to hit that CAPTCHA, I am not a robot. All right. And then submit the request itself. All right, so it's like a 5-step process. All right, not too difficult. And then the last step is you'll get the confirmation. All right, so you'll get a confirmation number, you'll get a request number, and then as time moves on, that's what you can use to double check and see the status of your request. All right, everyone, so I hope you found this video helpful. If you want to request a record from a family member, and again, just make sure you're keeping track of those dates. 1959 and before is different than 1959 and after in terms of who can request and the cost. All right, so we'd love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video please, and hope you enjoyed. Thanks very much for joining us.